There will be spoilers ahead. Lots of spoilers, so be careful, won't you?
Hello there, Mr. and Mrs. Podcast listener and all the ships at sea. Flash! Max Mike Movies have done it again, coming up with a brand new series, and wow, it's a humdinger. They're tagging it because it's good for you. Why? Glad you asked. Every single cockeyed movie in this series is taken straight from the Criterion Collection. And what is the Criterion Collection? Why, it's a collection of films based on criteria. Imagine having to ask, what are you, some kind of lunkhead? A Clyde? A lame brain? No? Well, then you already know. And these two mugs are kicking off the series with a slam bam, let me hold the door for you, ma'am. It's 1940s His Girl Friday, and it's a gasser, a hootenanny, a zinger, a swinger, a torch song singer. It's pow, bam, slam, open an extra jar of prunes, Sister Sarah, because the old hoss has snapped the jump rope. Oh, God help me, I can't stop. Ugh. I'm okay. I'm also your host, Max. Stop the presses, my pants need pressing, Levine. And over there, skeeving a Johnsy on some poor mucklebug. No, I don't know what that means either. Is Mike, why I ought to pound you loose. What's the skinny, the scam, the gag, Mike?
Ready when you are, Mr. Hawks. Oh boy, that's a very unhappy deeper.
Yeah. But before we get to this movie, it's time for our
Poll question.
We wanted to know, what is your favorite epic movie? And from that epic land of epicness filled with epic people, Vince responds, if an intermission is what's needed, 2001 is one of my favorite epic films. I rewatch it almost every year. I suddenly realized in your discussion of Mission to Mars that I had actually seen it. Oh. It's everything Mike said and less. So much less. We're so sorry to bring back that memory, Vince.
You know, suddenly I'm interested in real estate. I just don't know why.
Harriet Roberts offers up Out of Africa. Oh, okay. Am I out of Africa? Do I need more Africa? Dr. Lauren Buxbaum says, Fantasia. Oh, wow.
Interesting.
It is a visual extravaganza backed by unforgettable music. In addition, you could watch it dozens of times and still find new images. This is true. I wouldn't have thought of that, but that works.
Yeah, it depends on what drug you take, too.
Well, part of it is the creation of the world through the extinction of the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
How much more epic can you get?
That's pretty epic.
Best-selling mystery author Tony Kellner says, The Great Escape, if that counts.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see why not. That's pretty
That's like
epic.
a 3-hour movie.
Yeah. Also fond of The Greatest Show on Earth. And Emmett Kelly's still eating.
And it's still funny. Well, I'm glad that she likes that movie, Ciara and Tara episode on The Greatest Show on Earth.
Matthew Reisman responds, spots 1, 2, and 3 on this list would have to go to the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
There you go.
Fantasy epics are included, and they should be. Well, of course they are.
Yeah.
They did for fantasy cinema what the novels did for fantasy literature and are the benchmark against which any epic fantasy film is now compared. If you're looking for a historical epic, then Gladiator would be my top choice. Mike, do you enjoy movies about gladiators?
Ever been to a Turkish prison?
A surprising pick would be Kingdom of Heaven.
Oh, yeah.
Which I find strangely compelling despite its many flaws and historical inaccuracies.
Isn't that Orlando Bloom? I think it is.
I think so.
Yeah, very big.
Very epic, very sprawling. On the animated side, it would be very hard to argue that any epic has had greater popularity than The Lion King.
Huh.
Okay, yeah. Well, it's King Lear, so sure.
Yeah. No, King Mufasa.
No, right. Nick Hoffman says Lawrence of Arabia.
Oh, yeah.
I was dragged kicking and screaming the first time, and now I see it every time it shows up in a theater. Yeah, and a theater is where to see it.
That's the only time I've ever seen it. I saw it in a full 7D print at the Somerville.
Dan Schaefer agrees, saying, this was my first answer too, although Villeneuve's Dune is up there.
Are you okay?
I'm sorry, I'm struck with a case of Villeneuve.
I think your jaws come unhinged.
Ow, ow. Dave says, I've been quite happy with the Dune movies, the two recent ones, and also the old David Lynch.
Oh.
Really? All I see is an Atreides I want to kill.
I will kill him. I will kill him. I will kill him.
The first Dune book for me is the greatest science fiction novel ever.
Oh.
I wish Frank Herbert had stopped there. Ouch!
You're not alone.
I will give any further Dune movies the benefit of the doubt, as there is so much potential in the Dune universe, and maybe we will see what the house ferrets and laser tigers look like. He's not making that up.
Duneverse, maybe?
For Japan, I think A Fugitive from the Past is epic in scope and not given the credit it is due. I had never heard of it, neither have I, and only checked it out by chance because Takahura Ken is in it. Blew me away.
Huh.
Oh, sure. Takahura Ken, you got to see that.
You know, I heard they're doing a kids version of Dune. It's called the New Dune Review, and it's coming right at you. It's a musical.
Moadi babies, making our dreams come true.
See? It's not a bad idea. Jim Henson's Dune Babies.
Dune babies. Oh. Charles Forsyth says, I think the Lord of the Rings trilogy takes the prize. Another vote for LOTR. The books were written as a trilogy, so each made a solid movie. Second would be Dune, parts 1 and 2. This suffered from the density of the source material versus the screen time. While it had more breathing room than Lynch's single film adaptation, breathing room was the problem, there was still a lot of the book left out. Also, the end of part 1 was kind of abrupt. It should have, been 3 movies, but then it would have been hard to split up films that stood on their own. The release of Dune Part 3 may cap off the project in a way that pushes it ahead of Lord of the Rings, but we'll see. Yes, we will. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I didn't think... I mean, here's the thing. I've never read Dune, any of the books. And I didn't think the ending of the first film was particularly abrupt. It seemed a pretty good place to stop. It's like, hey, we made it to the nice Fremen people. Come to the next movie and find out what happens next, which, you know... So, that's all right.
And taking time out from his busy Tatum inventing, Richard Tatum says, really, really depends on your definition of epic. I don't think SOM is epic.
Sound of Music.
Oh, Sound of Music. All right. It's a beloved film, but epic?
It's got an intermission.
Oh, dear. This came in the wrong order, but I second The Fifth Element. Guess who firsts it? I'll also add The Adventures of Baron von Munchausen. Okay, that works. Ethan Curran says, Lawrence of Arabia. Another one for Lawrence.
Lawrence.
Lawrence. Brian Mundo says, you'll never guess. Fifth Element. And we're back to normal. Feels good after a few weeks off. I love the cinematics and costumes. I still love physical costumes over most CGI out there. The campiness is amazing, and while the acting is okay, it's made up for by everything else.
Are you kidding? That's like one of my favorite Bruce Willis films. I don't like Bruce Willis, but I like him well enough in that.
My favorite Chris Tucker performance.
Yeah, that too. And that's a good one. I even like Gary Oldman, and even though he can't stand that film, especially when I found out, what is he doing? He's doing Foghorn Leghorn and who else? I forget who it was. It was something like Mick Jagger or some weird combination.
Foghorn Leghorn's enough, really. I am disappointed, I say.
Brilliant.
Aaron Perez says, oh, brother, where art thou? Well, that's fair, considering it's the Odyssey, and that's as epic as it gets.
Yeah.
Tyler Stewart chimes in with the Lord of the Rings trilogy is as epic as it gets.
This just in from Bill O'Lading. Oh, sorry, Max, no time for your usual little thing. He says, quote, short one this week, yuck, yuck. We gotta give Titanic 1997 some love. It's got romance, heart, and expertly done on a, well, epic scale. An amazing score, too. I love big movies. Titanic may be cliche, but it belongs among them, end quote. Thank you, Bill. And now, back to Max.
And over here on our epic hotline is her epic hotness herself, Doris Hempelmeyer.
Hello, Max Mike Movies. Hi, Max. This is Doris Hempelmeyer here to answer your poll question. I have trouble with this one because, to be honest, I'm not exactly sure what makes an epic movie. I mean, okay, so if you've got, C.B. DeMille and G.W. Griffith involved, that's probably going to be, past the thousands. That's going to be a thing. But other than that, what makes an epic? Well, of course, anytime that, Max and I are watching a movie It's always an epic. Anyway, I decided after a lot of thought that I was going to go with Star Wars. That's epic to me because it's like across a whole bunch of places and in a whole bunch of times and stuff. So that's pretty epic to me. So that's my answer. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I look forward to hearing next week's episode. Bye.
I am amazed she's the only one who says Star Wars.
Yeah, but I can see why, because, here's the thing. A lot of people don't remember the original Star Wars is longer than you think it is. It's 2 hours. Everyone thinks it's an hour and a half because it was, for the time, fairly quick moving. These days, Michael Mann is, But it is, I can see that because it's galaxy hopping, and it certainly led to
the trilogy is certainly an epic, yeah.
Well,
I can
it's
go with
long.
that. Thank you, Doris.
The first one's good.
What about you, Mike? What's your favorite epic movie?
I have a soft spot for Sound of Music. I'm not a musical kind of guy. And it is about as squeaky clean nice until the Nazis show up as you're going to get. And it's not epic in scope, really. It's about one family. And, of course, it's a rich white family. So these days it's kind of like, I don't really feel that bad for you. Except it's Nazis. I think it's one of those films I watched a number of times as a kid. It does have an intermission, so in a way it technically fits. But I'm going to go with Vince. I'm actually going to agree with 2001. And the reason I'm going to do it is because when we watched it for the show, a part of me was like, okay, I'm going to have to strap in. This is a long film. It's kind of dull. And I remember when the intermission showed up, I'm like, wait, it's been 90 minutes already? Like, I was surprised at how much it held my attention and how interesting I thought it was, having not only seen it before, but the pacing is, celestial.
Languid.
But no, it was, and of course it's covering pretty much all of human existence, right? Because we start off with the guys in the monkey suits and then doing monkey stuff, because everyone likes monkey stuff. And then eventually we get to the Star Child. So I'm going to go with 2001. But what about you?
Well, I got to agree with the folks who are going on with Lord of the Rings. I think that's wonderful, both each individually and as collective. It really is such a great sense of scale, but you also care about the characters so much. I think it's just the other one I have, and I don't know how people will feel about this, honestly, is Patton, which
I know
is
of it, never saw it.
Massive in scale,
and
covers a big chunk of World War II, but is still focused on one person, really. And whatever you think of Patton, and he had, he was let's be polite and say complicated figure in history. But the odds are we might not have won World War II without him.
I would also put in a little sort of also ran for Lawrence of Arabia, just because it's not my favorite film. The one time I've seen it, I saw it in a theater in a 70 millimeter print. And it is, oh my God, is it epic in scope? Like, just the way that it's photographed is epic. David Lean, I think, is the director on that one. And that is a big, big story, and it uses the screen really well.
And it wants a big serial.
Yeah.
But these were all great. These were terrific answers. Thank you so much.
Epic answers.
I did not see coming, which is always the most fun. And you know what? We want more. We're not done. Our epic need is epic in its epicness. And we want to know, what is your favorite movie about journalism or journalists? Print, video, or whatever. And at the end, we'll give you the scoop, the skinny, the scam as to how to answer that question in case you still don't know by now. But first, I got a question for you, Mike.
Seen anything good? Me? I'm going first.
You. Yeah.
I saw two things this week, one of which is sort of themic with our show, that we're not going to do it for the show. It was a documentary by David Hockney about the way that Chinese artists used to see things differently than we did. And it's literally about this 70-foot scroll. And the scroll depicts, it's from the 17th century, and it depicts basically the emperor's coming to town. And it goes up this entire river. And I cannot tell you how many thousands of little people are in it. That, for me, was interesting because I'm an art nerd. The other one was another documentary, not on Criterion Channel, that just became available yesterday. I got a text from somebody, and it was called Frank Miller, American Genius.
Oh, okay.
And this is about Frank Miller, the cartoonist, probably best known still for The Dark Knight Returns, Batman, The Dark Knight.
Batman.
Yeah, The Dark Knight Returns. And various other things that he did. It is, in general, a fluff piece. I mean, the title kind of tells you that, how wonderful Frank is and stuff. There is a brief moment where they mention the fact that, or he mentions the fact that he was an alcoholic, and his response about his graphic novel Holy Terror was, "I wasn't at my best."
That's a polite way to say.
Yeah, this was a graphic novel that was originally supposed to be Batman beating up people from the Middle East because, he was still angry and drunk about 9/11. And DC was like, "Oh, no, thanks. We don't want this." And he just published it on his own and changed the character from Batman to somebody else. But, there's a lot of information in there that if you are a Frank Miller fan, you'd probably find interesting. He does not mention his one-time sort of partner and colorist Lynn Varley, except vaguely once. He does not mention the artist he worked with on Batman Year One, which is Dave Mazzucchelli, which is kind of disappointing. But otherwise, Frank's a big influence on Western superhero comics. I had dinner with the man. He was really, really nice. He was really very open, and he found out I drew and said, "What brush do you use?" And I'm like, "Frank, why the hell do you care?"
And so he found out you were a Muslim, and that was it.
I very much am not, but the gay thing might have done. He became very homophobic too. They didn't touch on that at all.
Funny that.
Yeah. So if you are interested in comics, it might be worth checking out Frank Miller, American Genius. But Max,
yes,
you seen anything good lately?
I saw one thing, actually. I saw the, I don't know how you describe it. It's the film of a stage production of Hadestown, which
I've heard this is really good.
It's a sort of a retelling of the Orpheus myth, and the performances are amazing. The staging is really cool. This is one of the best. It's really hard to watch them film a stage show because the whole time it's like, we are filming a stage show. You can tell.
Yeah. And so they don't change camera angles or anything?
No, they do.
Oh.
But they do it really well.
Oh.
Yeah. It's very well done. I was not a big fan of the actual book, of the, I don't mean the novel or anything. I mean the song lyrics. It's a type of musical I just don't find memorable. Most of the songs, the melodies and such went right out of my head. But the way they did it, the performances were first rate. Cool. It's really an interesting thing to see. This is the same guy who did the unfortunately titled Urinetown musical.
Ugh. No thanks.
Yeah.
So part of his Town series.
I guess.
Why don't they just do a musical on Orpheus? It's just called Don't Look Back. Okay.
Yeah. Or a musical just called Eyes Front.
Or You Dope.
Yes. Yeah.
Of all the people in myths, the one I want to slap the hardest is Orpheus.
Orpheus is
one thing, just one thing.
You had one job, man. This wasn't slaying anything. This wasn't surviving anything. It just don't turn your head.
Yeah, can't do it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, cool. Hadestown. So recommendation from Max and I
would say yes.
Yeah, sort of recommendation for me. Mine's rentable on your favorite streaming service, and Max's is in theaters, which is kind of cool. It's kind of nice that there's a play that people like well enough, because a lot of those things we're not going to see. They just don't come to your town or whatever. At some point, I would like to see a version of Hamilton, because I've seen clips of it and it looks really cool. So, but yeah, cool.
The facts. Before we get to His Girl Friday, let's talk a little bit about the basis for this series, which is the Criterion Collection.
Ooh.
I'm going to give a brief overview.
Ooh.
Mike may know more about this. This was his idea. The Criterion Collection Incorporated, or just Criterion, is at its heart an entertainment company that focuses on licensing, restoring, and distributing, quote, important classic and contemporary films.
Like The Blob.
Unquote, yes. Or like Godzilla vs. Biollante, or...
Yeah.
The things that are in the Criterion Collection may surprise you. Some you go, oh, sure. There are about 1,500 total movies in the collection.
Cool.
They add about 50 or 60 new titles each year.
Neat.
So I don't know what happens when it's a bad year.
We get the blob.
Yeah. I should also say they are the sister company of the art house film distribution Janus Films. They are also part of the same organization that owns Mike's favorite movie theater on the planet, the Brattle Theater.
Yay!
Criterion has had a lot more of an effect on the movie industry, especially home video watching, than I knew.
Yeah.
I was looking this up. They helped standardize certain aspects of home video release, like film restoration. They're the ones who came up with letterboxing format for widescreen films. And they're the reason we have things like commentary tracks, bonus features, essays, and documentary content. They pioneered commentary tracks. I didn't know that.
Yeah. The only reason we get extras on DVDs or even back in VHS times was the Laserdisc that Criterion was putting out. They were like, if you want, even if a favorite, usually at that point it was a favorite old or foreign film, and you wanted the version, it was the Criterion Laserdisc, and they were not cheap.
And we'll be covering more about them as the series goes on.
Sure.
But now, the facts. This was originally a play called The Front Page.
That does not surprise me.
No, it's pretty obvious when you see Howard Hawks loved doing that. He loved anything dialogue heavy. So of course he went for a lot of plays. Yeah.
What a surprise.
Play debuted on Broadway in 1928, and the first film adaptation, which used the same name, came out 3 years later, 1931.
Oh.
One of the interesting things, there's kind of a difference between The Front Page and His Girl Friday. In both the play and the film, Hildy Johnson, the character, is a guy.
Huh?
Yeah, he is a man. During the 1930s, Howard Hawks was hosting a dinner party when the topic of dialogue was brought up. He pulled out a copy of The Front Page to demonstrate the snappy exchanges between characters. He took the role of Burns, and I'm sure he was excellent at it. A female guest took the role of Hildy. While reading, Hawks realized that dialogue sounded much better with a woman reading, and quickly secured the rights for the film from Howard Hughes.
Oh.
Ben Hecht, who was the author, he approved the gender change and the screenplay was put into production.
Which is why he changed the name to His Girl Friday. Okay.
Yes.
That's really, I mean,
Yeah.
I obviously must have added the whole plot elements of her being, I guess he could still have a fiancé.
Yeah.
But they weren't married.
No, they were not married. They were not romantically involved. We'll get to that later. We talk about the movie.
That is interesting.
Yep. When they remade The Front Page with Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon, Hildy became a guy again.
Well, I mean, those two.
Yeah.
They're an odd couple.
Yeah, odd. That's the word for it.
Odd.
In addition to casting Hildy as a female reporter and editor, the city room of the Morning Post had half a dozen other women sitting at reporters' desks.
Yep. That was awesome.
As a 1940s film, this was extraordinary because this was an overwhelmingly male profession. Maybe you got one woman writing the Lonely Hearts column.
Yeah.
Or a fashion column, but you did not get as many as there were in this movie.
I thought that was awesome.
This is one of the first films, preceded only by one called The Stage Door in 1937, to have the characters talk over the lines of other characters for a more realistic sound. Prior to this, every character would say their lines and wait for the other person to start. Which is why a lot of the dialogue is a lot stiffer in the older movies.
Huh, interesting.
Estimated that the normal rate of verbal dialogue in most films is about 90 words a minute. In His Girl Friday, the delivery has been clocked at 240 words a minute. I have no trouble believing that.
Me either.
Yeah. To maintain the fast pace, Howard Hawks encouraged his cast to add dialogue and funny bits of business and step on each other's lines whenever possible.
Okay, that explains a lot. Okay.
Doesn't it?
Well, there's a number of quotes that I have, and I'm betting all of those were added dialogue.
One of them, according to Ralph Bellamy, the line, there's a guy in a taxi down at the court building, looks a lot like that movie star. What's his name? Ralph Bellamy.
Yep.
That was ad-libbed by Cary Grant.
That was one of my quotes.
Harry Cohn, the studio head, saw the dailies and was furious. He thought it was impertinent, but he let Hawks leave it in, and it's got one of the biggest laughs in the film.
Oh, that particular quote. I think you meant
that particular line.
Overlapping dialogue in general.
Nope, that particular line. Rosalind Russell was not only not the first choice to play Hildy, but nowhere near the first choice.
Oh.
Jean Arthur was the first choice. She turned it down, as did Carole Lombard, Margaret Sullivan, Ginger Rogers, Claudette Colbert, and Irene Dunn.
I think about the only person I can think of that might have given her a run for her money is Katharine Hepburn.
Yeah, she could have done it.
Well, she also can speak that fast.
She can talk that fast, yes. Rosalind Russell, because this was really insecure the first days of filming, because she knew how far down the list she had been.
Oh.
Making matters worse was the fact that Howard Hawks just watched her initial scenes with Cary Grant without saying a word.
Oh.
When she expressed her frustration at Grant, who just said, if he didn't like it, he'd tell you.
We'll come back to Cary.
Yeah. When she asked Hawks how he felt about her work, he said, you just keep pushing him around the way you're doing. Yeah. And that was enough to put her at ease.
Good.
Howard Hawks managed to ignore production code objections to Hildy's bribing the jailer to get an interview with the condemned man, Earl Williams, the kidnapping of Bruce's mother, and the attempts to smuggle Williams out of the court building. All of this was against the production code. You were never supposed to have your heroes doing anything illegal or unethical.
Yeah, we'll come back to that.
One area where he deferred to them, however, was in the characterization of reporters as, quote, the scum of Western civilization. To soften the film's depiction of the Fourth Estate, he added a written prologue setting the film in another era, though without any attempt to capture period costumes. Quote, it all happened in the dark ages of the newspaper game when to a reporter getting the story justified anything short of murder. Incidentally, you will see in this picture no resemblance to the men and women of the press today. Ready? Well, once upon a time...
Wait a minute. What period was this supposed to be taking place in?
Long ago. Despite the fact we get a number of historical references to the Red Scare and Adolf Hitler.
Yeah. He's lying.
The film finished shooting 7 days behind schedule. The delays were caused by the complexity of shooting the rapid-fire dialogue, which had to be carefully timed with business and movement. The restaurant scene in which Burns takes Hildy and Bruce to lunch took 4 days to shoot.
Yeah.
The original schedule only allotted 2. There aren't a lot of recognizable actors in here, but there are 1 or 2 whose voices you might recognize. Billy Gilbert, who plays Joe Pettibone, the guy who delivers the reprieve, was one of the most popular character actors of his day. He appeared in over 230 films and TV shows over a 33-year career. He's best known for being able to sneeze riotously on command, which got him cast as the voice of Sneezy in the animated Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Wow. Party Trick gives you an entire career. Good for you.
Yep. The movie is so fast-paced that if you've noticed, it has no incidental music score other than that over the opening and closing credits. There's no way they could time it. During one of Walter's rants, Hildy makes the nonsense sounds of an auctioneer and cuts him off by shouting, "Sold American!" I always thought that was sort of a general auction thing. No, at the time, and up until the 1960s, the rapid-fire chant of a tobacco auctioneer and the "Sold American" line was a standard part of radio and later television commercials for Lucky Strike cigarettes.
Oh, because it shows up in Warner Brothers cartoons all the time. I had no idea what that was from.
Yep. One point when Grant gets to the office where the escapee is at the desk, as he's chatting with her, Russell tells Grant, "Oh, get off your trapeze." This was in reference to the fact that Grant, in his earlier life, was a professional acrobat.
Oh.
Walter and Hildy hiding escaped killer Earl Williams in a desk in the city room was based on a real incident. Emile Gauvreau, the editor of the old New York City paper, the New York Evening Graphic, hid an escaped killer in the city room of the newspaper, interviewed him, wrote the story, and waited until the paper was on the street before turning him over to the police.
I'm sure that's legal.
Oh yeah, very. Concerned that the final draft still wasn't funny enough, Howard Hawks called it in Maury Riskin to polish the dialogue, as he had for the director's Calling Zero in '36. Riskin would not receive a credit on the finished film. Riskin also gave the film another ending in which Burns and Hildy are married in the newsroom, then immediately start fighting, leading one of the guests to comment, "I think it's going to turn out all right this time." Unfortunately, Riskin revealed this ending to other writers at the studio, and before the film could go into production, another picture was shot with that same ending.
Oops.
There is a ton of other stuff, but I think it's time we get to the plot.
You have to deliver it at 200 words a second.
No, ain't gonna do it. I sprained my jaw in the opening.
Yeah.
It's 1940 in some city that is definitely not New York.
Uh-huh.
Walter Burns is the editor of the Post newspaper, and Hildy Johnson is his #1 reporter and his wife. At least she was, until a few months ago when she decided she wanted to scram the news bids and get herself hitched to Bruce White Guy and go live in Albany with Bruce and his mama. Well, Walter isn't going to let that stand. Bruce isn't right for Hildy. More importantly, Walter needs Hildy for journalism and other stuff probably. So he hooks Hildy into a big story about a supposed killer about to be executed, all the while activating the wacky hijinks protocol to keep her in town. Despite her protests, Hildy gets drawn back into the fast-talking, ethically dubious world of newspaper writing, hoping to get the scoop on the alleged killer and apparently bringing down a corrupt political system at the same time. There's pickpocketing, gunplay, counterfeit money, and high-speed quips galore as Hildy figures out what she really wants in life, and Walter changes not at all. The film.
Sure.
So, Mike, have you ever seen this movie?
No, I have never seen it. I've heard of it, but this feels to me like a film that Max has not only seen, but he's seen multiple times.
That is quite true. I have seen this several times, once in, not when it came out, oddly enough, but
really?
Once in a theater. I think might have been the Harvard Square.
That one, or the Brattle wouldn't surprise me either. Or maybe even the Somerville. Who knows? Probably not the Somerville. Yeah, it's one of those. Now, I have to ask you this because I was pretty sure, but I wasn't positive. Is this a screwball comedy?
Yeah, I think it is. I would call it one.
Okay.
There's physical comedy. There's rapid-fire dialogue. Yeah.
Oh boy, is there. We'll come back to that. I have a couple of talking points. That was one of them, but I just want to get that out of the way.
Sure.
We have a big cast, but I'm not sure
cast.
how many of them we need to go into.
Zizi's in it.
We already talked about him.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, we got to talk about like the big 2 or 3, like
Sure.
Cary Grant. I'm Cary Grant.
I think he is his most Cary Grant. Like when
he
you
is
hear
Cary
people
Granting all over the place.
When you hear people do impersonations, especially in cartoons or of the times, and they're doing Cary Grant with this overstated and staccato sort of delivery, this is where it came from. Because I've seen him in other films, and it's not nearly as bad. But here,
it's very pronounced in this.
And you know, he's charming. You know, he shouldn't be. Because his characters...
He's manipulative. He's kind of sleazy. He doesn't care about anybody else's needs except his own. And you still like him somehow.
Yeah, and we still want to see them together, which really does not make sense.
No.
Except he probably is right. Mm-hmm. I'm sitting there watching Hildy's character like she wants to settle down and just have kids in like a backyard and do laundry. I don't buy it.
Yeah, and everyone except her knows this. All the other reporters are going, she'll never do it. I give it 3 months.
So Cary is fun. He is funny. He has some of the longest speeches, and I don't know if you noticed this or not, the camera doesn't cut very much.
No, it just zooms in on him and he carries the whole thing.
Literally, because that's his name.
Yep.
So he's fun. This is I don't know for certain, but I'm betting this is one of his top loved performances.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
And Rosalind Russell. It's so hard to believe this is Mrs. Jacoby here.
Is it really? Oh my God.
And Auntie Mame.
Wow.
Yeah,
I guess it is. She's fantastic. She is
She's
holding
so
her
good.
own at the same speed.
And she really does just smack him around. You know, she totally unimpressed by Walter. She knows all of his flaws, and she can take whatever he dishes out.
And I think the only reason he wins in the end is it's not him, it's the life. and knowing that he is going to let her, like, I'm not going to tell you what to write, what not to write. I just want you to write because you're that good. And I have a place for you and I'm going to let you do it. And that's the reason he wins. It's not because of him. It's because of what he has available for her.
The only thing he forces her to do is recognize what she really wants.
Yeah.
Hildy's a really interesting character. We're going to talk about her more. We got Ralph Bellamy as Bruce Baldwin.
I mean, he's very much like, there's a character from the Dick Van Dyke Show, and it's Herman Glimsher. And the big joke about Herman Glimsher is he never goes anywhere without his mother. And this is kind of that same character.
Very similar.
Except I'm sitting there going, there is that line pops up. He looks like that guy in the movies, Ralph Bellamy. And I'm like, I think the only movie I know Ralph Bellamy from is Trading Places.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only one. Although I do know
he's
him
in everything.
He was in almost 200 movies. He's in the original Wolfman. He's Colonel Montfort.
Okay.
He's been in so much stuff. But yes, I think he's perfect casting.
Yeah.
Because hello, I am an utterly bland, generally nice guy with no personality at all.
He's the straight man, let's face it, that he allows them to run roughshod over his dialogue, but he also is fast enough to change the subject as when Walter Burns, Cary Grant's character, does. And he seems like a nice guy. Like, he sells insurance. Okay, not very interesting, but he feels like the kind of person that's going to be solid and reliable and trustworthy and eyes blue. And yeah.
He would make a good Dudley Do-Right, except he doesn't come off as stupid.
No. So
that's the thing I kind of like. They make him, he's naive, he's boring, but he's not an idiot and he's not a jerk.
Well, I think the easiest way to put it is he's from Albany.
Yes, he is from Albany, and that covers it.
Sorry, Albany. Yeah. So, then things start to trickle down.
Yeah.
And we have Gene Lockhart as the sheriff, who is fine. He reminded me of a character from It's a Wonderful Life, but it's not him.
No, I think I know who you mean, because he does sound like him. My little known fact, Gene Lockhart had gender reassignment surgery and became June Lockhart.
No.
No, I read it somewhere.
No,
totally did.
No, you wrote it somewhere, but you did not read it. They are not. They're probably not even related. No. My favorite actor's name, though, is Ernest Truex. Always use Truex when waxing your car, because Truex.
Yeah, he's Bensinger, who gets one scene.
Yeah, I mean there's one other actor though, the guy who plays the actual murderer.
John Quaylen, who plays Earl Williams. Yeah.
He looks familiar. Like, I think that he's been caricatured.
You know him from stuff.
He's been used in...
He's been in...
Oh, he has this little voice and, blah, 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 blah. I think he's
in Casablanca.
Is he?
He's one of the characters, Berger.
Oh, that's right. Yep. And this is a bunch of
westerns.
A bunch of guys playing reporters, right? This is... Yeah. And they're all hard-bitten reporters. Although part of me is sitting there going, gee, I wish I had that job where I basically get to sit here and play poker with my friends all day and get paid for it. Oh, I'll just be here in case something happens. Like, whew. But, of course, newspapers were a bigger deal back then, whereas now we don't have any.
Yep.
So, yeah, the acting is different. It is very different. In fact, it's not realistic at all. But it's very much of the time, and it really fits the mood of what they're going through, I think.
It is very Howard Hawks. Howard Hawks was legendary for exactly this sort of thing. Even the movie he denies directing, the thing from another world.
Does he just have his name on as producer? Because his name's on it.
No, his name isn't on it. Maybe as producer, but the director officially is Christian Nyby.
Okay.
And it has been a legend for decades that he actually directed it, didn't like it, and got Nyby to put his name on it.
Oh. Should have asked that other guy, Alan Smithy. He'll put his name on anything.
Yeah. I used to think that's what Christian Nyby was, except, no, that's a real guy and a real name, believe it or not. Nyby, N-Y-B-Y. Howard Hawks loves fast, sharp, very crisp dialogue and just cramming as much of it in as humanly possible. Check out, as a Bringing Up Baby or To Have and Have Not.
Got a leopard in it. Bumpy Puck cereal now with Truex. Okay. Ernest Truex.
That is correct. So, yeah, the cast is very good. They all do their job. They all somehow manage the machine gun style dialogue. I like Billy Gilbert as Joe Pettibone. I think he's hilarious. He's too dumb to be corrupt.
Well, he does, yeah, I guess, but he does actually make a decision later on, but it seems mostly having to do with his wife finding out and like, probably abusing him, so...
I assume she hit him with a frying pan.
Yeah. So it's 1940, and it feels very 1940. And
does it ever?
It feels like a Howard Hawks film a lot. People don't talk that fast, but they do here. So
it is strange, as Mike pointed out, that they're trying to not specify the time period, except the clothing is all 1940. They talk about Adolf Hitler. They talk about the Red Scare. We know when this is happening.
Well, there's even one of the quotes I had written down was, never mind that European war. So we know it's actually 1939 because or 40 because we haven't gotten in there.
We do know this is not New York. They tell us very specifically.
Sure.
Yeah, I know. Despite the fact everyone's got a New York accent.
We don't see the Empire State Building out the window, but we know it's there.
When Walter is doing his spiel about how they're going to overthrow the corrupt political system, said, we could have a system like they have in New York under LaGuardia. Fiorello LaGuardia was the legendary mayor of New York.
Well, that's why they named that nice airport after him.
So this is clearly, I don't know, West New York or middle-aged York. Maybe Jersey, I don't know.
It's literally, you can feel the wink. Right?
Yeah.
It's not New York. Wink. So
yeah, pretty much.
I had a few quotes that I managed somehow to pull out of the dialogue. One of them was very early on, and I don't remember who said it, but somebody said, my cat just had kittens again, and then Hildy says, it's her own fault. Okay.
Oh, the lines in here, I love at one point where Walter is buying insurance from Bruce, because of course Bruce sells insurance. Of course he does.
Yeah.
And he wants to make Hildy his beneficiary. And Bruce is like, I wouldn't feel right about that. I'm going to take care of her. And he does this whole thing about, yes, but think about her in her old age. Look at her. Can you see her in your mind's eye? You see her with white hair, lavender and lace? Can you see her? Yes, I can. She's old, isn't she?
Well, at one point, I forget exactly why, but it's again Grant and Russell, and he says, you want my fingerprints? And she says, no, I still got those. Okay, that's, the Ralph Bellamy line. There's a couple, though, that are really, besides the Ralph Bellamy one, that are very interestingly meta. And I'm guessing one of them, I guess it couldn't come from the original play, but there's one point where Hildy is describing Bruce, and Cary Grant's line back is, sounds like the kind of guy I ought to marry. Well, interestingly...
No.
Well, interestingly, there's a lot of speculation about Mr. Grant, and I don't mean Mr. Grant.
Oh, Mr. Grant!
That he may not have been entirely, straight.
I didn't think it was a rumor. I thought that was a given.
Well, that's why I thought the line was actually kind of interesting. But there's another one which may or may not have slipped under your radar. And there's one point where he said, the last man who said that to me was Archie Leach, which is his real name.
That's his real name. That was Cary Grant's birth name.
Yeah, the marriage one is just interesting. I don't know how meta it is. But the other two ones about Archie Leach and Ralph Bellamy, what did you think about this very early version of meta humor?
I liked it. I think it works. Because like everything, it happens so fast.
Yeah.
You just listen to it, accept it, and then keep going. Because if you stop to think about it, you'll miss 20% of the plot.
Yeah. It was surprising to see meta, and I don't mean Facebook, but seeing meta stuff happening that long ago. Because it feels like much more. They
used to do that.
I guess so.
There's a famous bit, and I think it's at the circus, a Marx Brothers movie, where a female character tucks something down the front of her leotard, and Groucho wants to get this. It's a book or some such. And he looks right at the camera and says, now I have to figure out how to get that without getting in trouble with the Hays Commission.
Yeah, I guess
it's basically like Bugs Bunny looking at of course you realize this means... No, they used to do that. People broke the fourth wall.
Well, with
Marx Brothers
cartoons,
did it a lot.
With the cartoons, though, it's like there's no sense of reality here at all.
Yeah.
But
no, it
was
does
interesting.
happen. There's also some kind of lines that now are a little awkward and problematic.
Did you want to talk about the racism? Okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of reference to the colored vote, which is very important.
Yeah, then there's another word that I don't even want to say. It refers to the birth of a young African-American child.
Yeah.
It begins with a P, and that's as far as I'm going. It's a very unpleasant word, but of course, there's no excuse. I'm not going to excuse the film. I will, however, say it's 1940.
It's of its time. It's like Louis Diamond, who, again, is a lot of fun. He's like Walter's best friend, and he is a crook. I mean, he's a professional crook. First off, he refers to Louis as, that damn immigrant. And when Hildy is yelling about this blonde woman that he sent to basically get Bruce thrown in jail, you and that albino. And she goes, she ain't no albino. She was born right here in this country.
Yeah, I'm sure Albanian.
I like that. I think that's funny.
There's some uncomfortable moments in this film that have to deal with racism, and I really wish they weren't there. And again, I'm not going to excuse them because they don't belong, but there's hard to find a film of the era which doesn't have a reference like that, either visual or...
Yeah, but we can't... It doesn't destroy the film, but, you can't pretend it isn't there.
No, but if you feel the guilt, at least feel the guilt.
Yes, feel the guilt.
This.
I gotta say, one of the things about this movie is I didn't realize reporters were held this reign of terror over everyone. They get away with so much crap.
Oh, come on.
They're like manhandling Hildy. They're like, harassing Molly. Poor Molly Malloy, who was adorable.
Don't you remember when we watched, I think it was that series on, I can't remember which streaming service it was, about Joan Crawford and Betty Davis, and we kept running into Hedda Hopper and how... She was sitting there, like, she was even, like, talking down to Louis B. Mayer, I think, at one point. It was like, people don't remember you're Jewish. You want me to have them remind them that you're Jewish, blah, 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 blah. The idea that reporters held that much power, that didn't surprise me at all.
But Hildy, at one point, is chasing a jailer and tackles him.
I loved that scene. Oh, my God, it was so funny. She just leaps after him.
That was also, to me, one of the real moments where you go, oh, yeah, Walter's right about her. Because she's trying to catch the guy. She almost gets run over half a dozen times by the police who are all heading out to try to catch Earl Williams. She doesn't bat an eye. It's like, oh, I almost got killed. Wow, how annoying.
Yeah.
It's an inconvenience. She is absolutely unafraid. And she doesn't mind risking her life, her safety. It means nothing. She's got to get the story.
No, she's a great character. And I loved the fact that there were like... I wouldn't say it's 50-50 women and men in that office, but it's like
it's close.
60-40. There's a lot. I'm like, good, why don't we have this now? And that was over 80 years ago. But
Howard Hawks had his blind spots, but he did like strong female characters.
And the other thing that's nice is that she's a strong female character, but she doesn't feel like she has to be manly. She's not really manly at all. She's just like, no, I'm playing by the same rules you are, so I'm going to do the same things you do. It's a really nice mix to me anyway. But there are, I've not seen this film before, there are some pretty dark things going on in this movie. Like the whole plot centers on the idea that there's a guy about to be hung for having shot a police officer. And the whole idea is they're trying to, I should say Walter Burns is trying to get him off on reasons of insanity. And there's a whole sort of idea that there might be a reprieve, but I guess he's already had one and they're not expecting one. But also that they don't want, or at least I should say the mayor and the sheriff don't want a reprieve because it's voting season, and somehow killing this guy off will look good to the mayor and the sheriff.
Do you remember what the unusual thing about the police officer was?
That he was black.
Yes, and the black vote is important in Townville or wherever they are.
New York City, come on.
Yeah, New York City!
That's right where they make that crappy picante sauce, so yeah.
Yeah, so that's it, the political aspect, and the fact that they are willing to kill this guy, even though he probably is crazy. I mean, he was certainly temporarily insane, and he didn't kill the police officer. He did shoot him.
Yeah.
There's no question of his guilt.
And then...
But he's not in his right mind.
On top of that, then this woman that he literally just met by chance and who kind of took him in, and he was nice to her, which is why she remembers him, because apparently she's somebody that people haven't been nice to. Not his girlfriend, nothing like that, but she shows up and she goes a little crazy and they manage to drive her off. Then she comes back and she basically goes something to the effect of "the hell with you" and jumps out the window.
She's trying, and she's doing it partly to distract them from asking where Earl is. At that point, he's inside the desk in the room. She throws herself out the window. She doesn't die.
Well,
but she throws her.
The only reason we know she didn't die is because one of the reporters looks out the window. We don't see her. He just looks out the window and goes, "Oh no, she's moving and breathing." It's like, really? 3-4 stories up and she's breathing. Sure she is.
You can survive that. She probably has a lot of broken bones. But
so I got a question for you. I know what you're probably going to say, but I was surprised at how dramaful the drama part of this comedy was. Do you think that the screwball high-speed comedy mixes with something that's that serious and that dark?
I think in this case it does. I think this is less screwball and more dialogue comedy. Screwball is a lot more physical humor usually.
Well, that's one of the reasons I asked the question.
And there's some in this, but yeah, I would say it has elements of the screwball comedy, but I'd have to revise that. I don't think it is a screwball comedy. It has elements of it. I think the darkness and the very, let's just say it, adult themes of execution and murder and gun violence, they add to the stakes here, and they point out just what the reporters deal with, as well as the rest of the people, and why they're so jaded, because they deal with this all the time: death and terrible family issues and God's know what else.
It's not that bad carrying the banner.
No, it's a fine life, carrying
It's a fine life. And you sing and everybody's happy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think this is one of those films where, because I wasn't prepared for that, it was kind of surprising for me, but when we'll get to the end of the film, we'll decide whether if I watched it again, I would change my mind. I don't know.
Yeah. I did like, after they have been abusing Molly, and she runs off crying the first time, Hildy just walks in, looks at them, and just says 4 words. She looks at them and says, "Gentlemen of the press." And they all sort of slump down, and they realize it hits them what they just did.
That was the most unrealistic part of the entire film, that they felt guilt. Did not believe that bad for an instant.
There is, by the way, I didn't mention this in trivia, but there is a very awkward moment that goes on in the press room that they don't emphasize, and it's really easy to miss. At one point, one of the guys they're playing cards, and you see one of the guys is sitting over by the window, and guy yells, "Hey, Stairway Sam, are you in?" He's sitting there watching women go up the stairs and looking up their skirts.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
Yeah. Again,
that I believe.
Another jab about the gentlemen of the press.
I have one more talking point, and then we have to get to the end because the clock on the wall says that's all for the Stridex Medicated Hour. Anyway, is the ending a happy one? Is it what we want? It's what they want, I guess, but is it the right ending?
I don't know if right is the word here. It's narratively satisfying. And part of it is, I like it because Hildy realizes what she really wants. And it's not necessarily about Walter, although that's almost sort of a throw-in. It's like, oh yeah, we're going to go get married. We're in love. We're going to have a honeymoon. You're like, yeah, right. I wonder if that's actually going to happen.
Well,
what matters to her the most is she's a journalist again.
Well, she always was.
She has recognized that she cannot stop being a journalist. That is who she is. She is not some suburban housewife. She is not someone who can be satisfied with that. She wants to chase and tackle people. She wants to hide murderers in desks. She wants this life, and nothing else could make her happy. So for her, I think it's very satisfying. Walter learns nothing. He doesn't change. He's exactly the way he was going in. I always find it just a little bit moving that at the end, Hildy starts crying. And Walter, and the first time I saw it, I were thinking, oh God, he's pushed her too far. He's done too much. She can't take it. And she's crying because she thought he was actually going to let her go. She didn't know he had this one last trick to keep her in town.
I thought it was her trick personally, but I was obviously wrong for that. My feeling on the ending is that it's a happy ending as long as she doesn't marry him. If she's smart, what she'll do is, okay, we'll go up to Albany, we'll do the story, we'll get married after that, and then another story pops up. Well, we'll get married, and she just strings him along for the next 40 years. That to me is the happy ending.
That would work.
But speaking of happy endings, we have to get to ours because we're running out of time.
The finish.
So, Max.
Huh?
You've seen this before. You've seen it many times, which
I've seen it several times.
That you like it, but it's really out of date. Like, this is not a film that
it's very dated.
You could not film this the way it is. You could not film this at this speed today.
No. There are maybe 3 actors out there who could talk that fast without totally losing it or having it to be whatever the equivalent of auto-tune that they would have to use.
So what do you think of His Girl Friday?
I love this movie. This movie is so much fun. You really have to pay attention because otherwise you won't know what anyone's talking about.
There'll be a test.
It's funny. It's dramatic. It's a very interesting take on journalism in the 40s and 30s and maybe still.
No.
If there were such things as newspapers.
Now I just push a button. Write me a story about this thing. Boop. There, I'm a journalist.
Yeah, pretty much. I think the performances are terrific or mostly just awe-inspiring at how fast they can talk and still be understandable. I really like this movie. I recommend it. Go into it remembering that it's a product of its time, but go into it. I absolutely think it's worth seeing. What about you? This is your first time around with it. You're hearing about it for years. How'd it work for you?
I was thrown. The moments that are dark are dark. Like when she goes to visit him in the cell, that's this cell in the middle of a room. Like I've seen stuff like this in Silence of the Lambs, right? This is you don't have neighbors kind of cell. And I actually loved when she bribed her way in. I was like, that's the classiest bribe I've ever seen. Quite honestly, if Rosalind Russell offered me $20, I'd let her do whatever she wanted to.
Oh, please. If Rosalind Russell just asked me to go interview someone, sure, ma'am, you want to sit on me as your stool?
Yeah. Ugh. So there are dark parts I didn't think were going to be that dark. Like, I was very surprised. And when the
Did that
poor
ruin
woman...
it for you?
Well, I don't know. When the woman really throws herself out the window, I'm like, is this funny? I don't know. You're telling me she's alive. I don't believe you. You literally are saying that, so I will not be upset. So I think that was something that threw me. Looking over it, and I would probably view it again and see it differently, knowing ahead of time that there are some very dark parts, I can look at the whole film and say, well, except for the fact that the press of the 1930s and 40s was, shall we say, scrupulous in a lot of cases, this isn't a very realistic film. Let's face it. The dialogue is highly unrealistic. Yeah. People don't talk that fast. They're not that glib. And you wish you were that funny. So it's because they did the dark parts as seriously as they did that I had trouble. But I think that if you go in going, none of this is serious, none of this is meant to be all that realistic, I think I would like it more. The 2 main characters are so fun to watch. But dear gods, when their scene finally ends, because as I said, the camera doesn't cut much. You can tell these poor people had to memorize these pages of dialogue and deliver it perfectly. Everybody, not just one actor, but everybody. Or nope, we have to start again. It's exhausting in a way. Like, you not only have to pay attention, but I swear there were points where I was going,
you got to keep up.
There are films that cannot be made in this day and age, and this is one of those films. It's got a style of humor that doesn't really work anymore, because as much as it is dark and as much as it does portray the reporter world, if you will, the way it does, as probably pretty factually accurate, this kind of naivete doesn't exist anymore, right? Because there are layers of naivete, not naivete, but like innocence.
Well, it's an innocence, yeah. Well, we've talked about that. A lot of old movies have that.
Yeah, and you
sense of innocence you can't do. You can't do this movie now. They've tried. They did one with Kathleen Turner and Christopher Reeve and somebody.
Oh, I didn't see it. Whatever it was. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a film that you kind of have to enjoy of its time. And I think you should recognize the racism and, be aware of it because it's there. It's not a huge part of it, but there's not like there's any black characters in the movie because it's 1940 and there won't be any, right? Because that's how that goes.
Yeah, they didn't invent black people till 1964.
But no, we know there's at least one in Casablanca.
Yeah, true.
They're delightful. And it has that innocence, that 1940s innocence. It is really, really fast. I think that it's a film that I will enjoy more on future viewings. I was just thrown by the darkness, the attempted suicide, the attempted hanging of characters in this film. And it's ha ha ha. But yeah, I can see why this is a favorite of a lot of people.
Yeah.
But you know what else is a favorite of a lot of people? Our poll question. Max, would you go over that again, please?
I will, and I'll do it at normal speed.
Thank God.
Normal speed. Normal speed. There's a deeper. What we want to know, what is your favorite movie about journalism or journalists? Print, video, or
Newsies.
Hey, why not? That works.
No, it doesn't.
And you can answer our question. Technically, they're distribution, not really journalism.
But it has Christian Bale in it.
It does. You can answer our question you can email us at maxmikemovies.com. You can also go to our website, maxmikemovies.com, and leave a comment, you can also suggest movies, suggest series, tell Mike that he's always wrong. Everything he says is wrong every time.
Never works. Not in almost 400 episodes has that ever worked.
Because I keep them from you. And you can, of course, find us on social media on Facebook or Blue Sky under Max Mike Movies. We're also on a plethora of podcast apps. You can find us there.
I tricked him into saying Facebook. Ha ha.
And you can join the delectable Doris and leave us a message on our hotline.
Yeah.
Leave a voicemail at 617-398-7266. That number again, 617-398-7266. Operators are nowhere near.
No operators.
No operators at all. But we are just starting off this Just 'Cause It's Good For You series.
Yeah.
Mike, what's our next Good For You movie?
Well, I thought that next week we would watch a film from France.
Italy?
No, France.
Germany?
France.
Oh, that's the accent. Okay, sure.
Yeah, because your French accent is, très bien. No,
Have I mentioned that was French? I'm Frenchy.
Très bien is Spanish, but that's all right.
No, it isn't. Très bien is
it?
Très bien is French.
Très belle.
No,
Fromage.
Bien also. Belle is beautiful.
Paris.
Bien is good.
Avec. Anyway, yes,
Avec.
we're going to watch a Pepe Le Pew. No, we're not going to watch Pepe Le Pew.
Oh.
We are going to watch a film that has an actor that we have had on, well, I haven't had him on the show before, but has been in a movie that we've done on
They
the show
can't
before.
prove we haven't.
And interestingly, I did not realize that this particular book had been adapted more than once. I don't know if this is the first adaptation of the talented Mr. Ripley, but this film, Purple Noon, which stars Alain Delon, who became a huge French superstar. This is his first film. It is from 1960. But this is very much an adaptation of the talentless Mr. Ripple. I'm sorry, the talented Mr. Ripley, as played by Matt Damon. Matt Damon!
Matt Damon!
No, he's not. He hasn't even been born yet. But yeah,
No.
apparently
Purple
this
Noon.
is...
I thought that was the one with Prince.
No, that's Purple Rain. But I can see
Purple
why you
Noon.
would be confused. Max's general state
Royal
is...
badness won't be in it? Oh, well.
No, Alain Delon. Yes, this is a Criterion film. It is not by one of the big directors, but it is an Alain Delon. I really liked him in La Samurai. This is his first film, and the film is actually pretty interesting. It's apparently supposed to be a mix of tension and intrigue, things like that. Just like Max and I are a mix of tension and intrigue.
Intrigue. Yes, we are very intrigue-ish.
So be intrigued when you join us next week for Purple Noon.
This has been a co-production of The Voice of Max and The Movie Wrench.